Hello everybody. Do you have one of these? This is my sewing stash box. This is all like little pieces of quilt fabric, strips, all that. And I'm going to show you how you can take this and turn them into beautiful blocks like this. And over here I have all my strips. You can kind of see, oops, let me move some of these blocks out of the way. These are finished ones. What you do is you start off with these are known as crumb quilts. You take a strip of fabric. You can see I got a strip of fabric here. And then on this side, all I did was start laying out fabric pieces and then sewing and getting them pretty close together into what's known as a string. Okay, and I've got several in a pile sitting right here, and I got several more I'm going to cut apart, all different lengths, because some of these I am starting to actually build the blocks. See, I had one already kind of put together. You add another strip. There's my strip piece underneath here, and you just go along and sew more pieces on, using up the whole piece. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be pressing these this way, not flipping this over. Do not press it this way. Do not go up like this. You're going to be tempted to, but don't. You want to lay your strip piece down, and you want to press these up. Then what you're going to do is you're going to cut with your rotary cutter in between each one, and you have the start of your next piece of your block. Okay? Okay, I wanted to show you something here. I'm on my last strip to iron here, but this piece right here is what I really want to show you here. If I flip this over, you can see right here, that was a triangle, one of these half square triangles just like this, probably smaller. This one right here was also a triangle. So I'm just kind of showing you how just adding these in will create really, really cool blocks. You can kind of see on this side, you can see that was a triangle. I just wanted to show you that because you end up with some really, really cool. Here's another half triangle here that I'm sewing on. Just sew one edge on there. Alright, I just wanted to show you that before I move on. Okay, I just wanted to show you this. Let's see if I can focus in here. I just want you to see that I'm lining up an edge on my ruler along with an edge of a block, and then I'm going to cut. And just to show you, here's one I cut, but you can see not even, but I can trim that. Okay, just get at least one edge. Here's one here. I had the one edge. This is pretty clean. I just need to clean this one up. Just want to show you that real quick. Here is one of these triangles, and I wanted to show you, and hopefully my camera will kind of work with me. It doesn't have like an auto adjust. Oh my goodness, this is not showing. Anyways, what I'm doing here is I got to make sure I've got 1/4 of an inch over, and then it looks like I've got a 1/2 inch going from this seam right here up to the edge of the triangle, okay? Because you're going to need that for sewing. I'm also squaring up my blocks at this point too. Believe it or not, these little pieces like this all add up and can throw off your blocks. Even though this is a scrappy block quilt, for when you're doing regular quilting, make sure you trim up your blocks because this can throw off your whole quilt. Okay, I just wanted to show you this on the triangles where you should trim. You can kind of see I've got this all lined up on an edge. You want to trim both edges so you end up with nice clean edges. When you get farther along in your block making, I just wanted to show you this real quick because I haven't got to that part yet, but I'm just going to show you something. Here, this acted as my string, this one underneath. This was a longer block I had put together already, this here, and then what I did was I just added some other ones that were already partially put together and sewed those on. And here's another one. The same thing with this one over here. This became my string, this group. Move that out of the way. This group here became the string. This was two pieces I had sewn together. Here was another couple pieces here that I had sewn together. And that becomes my string. This is how you build these blocks up. This one here, all I did was add this green. This was my string piece right here. This was a block already built, and again that went on to the string. And you can see this one's getting close to being, so my ruler's 6.5. I'm actually doing these at 7.5, so this one is getting pretty close to being ready to position and cut. And you always want to make sure, I'm going to show you back on this one, you always want to make sure when you're putting blocks together like this, you want at least, at a minimum, the smallest you can go is 5/8 of an inch in order to have some material show after you've done your seam allowance. So you can see how I position this to make sure that I had a wide enough space so that when I sew this, there's still going to be some material showing on this strip here, which you'll kind of understand when we get to the next part of this. I wanted to show you, here's one, remember I kind of showed you on the string, this one, and I wanted to show you it's getting kind of kittywampus, and what should you do with it. This was my string piece right here. These were pieces I had already pieced together. So just to kind of show you, I could flatten out an edge here so I'd have two more edges. Of course I could build on this edge if I wanted to. I could build on this bottom one here. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lop off. It's going to leave just a little corner piece for scrap. And do the same thing on this edge here. Like that. This little corner piece that could be saved for a miniature quilt. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on that later, at a later date. You want to save little pieces about this size. This is about 2 inches on this long edge for this triangle, so that one you could possibly save and reuse. But I just want to show you what to do when you start getting blocks. Once you've been using these triangles, you kind of get some kittywampus blocks, and you need to sometimes trim them a little bit to get some more edges to build on. Alright, here we go. So if you have finished sewing all your pieces, you now have, a box or a bag or something full of everything that you cut apart. Here's mine right here in a box. So the next thing you want to do is I've got a strip of fabric right here. We're going to start piecing. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed here. We're going to start piecing these together again. And, okay, so let's say you've got one like this. Okay, you had your strip piece, your piece that you sewn on. So you can do one of two things. You can either, you're going to just start placing them together again. So you can either go this way, or you can turn it this way. Okay, whatever you want to do. I think on this one I might turn it this way. And again, you want to get it really close to the edge. Right there, line it up. Put a pin in there. Just keep going down. I'm going to go ahead into my box here. Let's grab another one just for an example. Okay, here's one. Okay. This one, it might be kind of interesting to go ahead and go the long way. I'm not thinking too hard about this. I'm just placing them on here. Oops. There you go. I'm sorry, I'm doing this one-handed. Just go ahead and make another strip. And I'll show you what happens when we go ahead to start building these up when you get, well, here's an example. Here's one. There's one that's been built up a little bit. There's another one that is built up a little bit more than that. In fact, this one, you can see how big this is here. This one, I was just thinking I might place one of my smaller blocks, maybe come up to half, and then half on another one, and then cut this in half, just for, you know, get some more dimension in this block here. Okay, I just wanted to show you this is a corner piece. Okay, that was a piece right there. Let's see if I can show you this. Okay, those two were sewn together. And I'm doing this now on some lavender. So you see I've got this down. But then I want to show you what I do right here. I've got the next piece, and I know this is not focusing well. I apologize. I really have the worst camera in the world. I just kind of pin this back just a little bit, just for now, just for while I sew it, and then I got to be really careful when I split this too, so that I don't catch this piece here. I just wanted to show you how you integrate these half triangles, or these triangles into, they're actually half squares, into this strip piecing for crumb quilts. Okay, so I've got this one all set up and ready to go, and I'm going to go ahead and sew. Okay, as you start to progress, I have two different strips up here. Here's one, and you can see how the blocks are starting to come together. These have been sewn on and pressed. So this is going to kind of look like how yours is going to start to come together. Then down here, here's one block. You're going to kind of see how they're starting to grow. Getting close. As you kind of get bigger, you might have to start cutting some of them. Find a halfway mark to cut. I'm going to go ahead and start splitting mine. I've got several strips put together, and we'll come back. Okay, I'm going to show you something. This is one of my blocks. It's kind of large. Okay, this is an 8.5 inch ruler, and you can see it's overhanging by quite a bit. So I need to make some cuts on this. I'm going to cut it down, and on this one I think I might go maybe an inch on this edge here, because I've got a lot of room, and this will be another block, part of another block. Now over here I could go in between this one, which I think I might do, and then this becomes another block. But I can also trim on this bottom edge too. I could go, let me turn this here, I could go to 1 inch easily because this is a little over 2 inches. So I could cut this down to 1 inch. I'd have another strip piece, and the same thing up here on this one. So you're going to have to start manipulating your blocks as they get bigger. Cut them down again. It adds more interest to them, and eventually you're building up to that 7.5. I'm doing 7.5 inch blocks. Now you could do 8.5, you could do 9.5, 10.5. You can do whatever size blocks you want to do. I am doing 7.5. So that's my goal. So I just wanted to show you that you're going to have to manipulate manipulate your blocks a little bit and cut them down. And I'm going to go ahead and do that with this one. Okay, I've cut this up. I'm just going to show you what I did. Okay, I cut this one. I cut this top piece, this one, and this edge. This is the one I'm going to start to build off again. This one up here, I might cut this again down this middle here. And then of course I've got this strip piece. And then I've got these other ones to start building another block off of. Just wanted to show you how you manipulate these blocks a little bit and how they get cut up. I'm going to show you what to do with these oddball blocks you might end up with after you've done a strip piece. This was the strip here. I sewed it on a diagonal right there. Kind of see it. So what should you do with that? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my ruler right here. I'm going to lop this off. That gives me a straight edge. So I can either use this edge, I can use this edge, I'll probably straighten this edge, so I'll have 3 edges to work with to build a block, and that'll make a very interesting centerpiece for a block too. So you just kind of play with them, and you just have to play with it. You know, it's just material, don't worry about it, there are no mistakes, everything is fixable. So you just have to kind of play with it. Just wanted to show you that. Moving on, we're at the point now. This is 7.5 inches. This one is 7.5 inches going in this direction. And it's about 7 inches going down this way. And I've got a couple strips here. This one, let me show you here. I'm sorry, that's not right. It is actually 8.25 inches over here. So I'm going to have to trim off a little bit, so I'll get another little strip right here. If I lay this on here. This kind of gives me an idea. I just want to show you that you have to kind of start thinking when you get close to your 7.5 inches. Or whatever size block you're doing. Here's another one here. I think I can go ahead and add this one. Now to see where the cut's going to happen, just overlap these by 1/4 inch. I got that overlapped. Go ahead and set your ruler on there. And it's going to give you an idea of where your cut's going to be. So on mine, 7.5 inches right there, so I'll have enough room to be able to reuse this strip on something else. This one, if I lay this on at 1/4, I probably won't be able to use this strip again. I'm not real sure yet. Okay, go ahead and lay this on. Okay. 7.5 is right here. There's only going to be a 1/2 inch left. That is probably going to be scrap. Nothing I can do about that. You'll have some scraps, and then of course there'll be some trimming right here too, because here's 7.5 inches right here. So this block, I do one more border on each one. These two will be ready to go ahead and finish. Okay, we're at the final stage here. Here is a block that is ready to be squared up. And what you want to take into consideration is, now on this edge here, I've got this pretty much lined up where I'm going to be cutting at least these two edges up here, this one and this one. This piece I won't be able to use again. That'll just go into the trash. At the bottom here though, I want to show you this. You know, the 7.5 inch mark is right here. So I'm going to be able to use this strip again. This one right here that I'm going to cut off. And that's what you want to do when you go to square these up, is kind of see, can you get another strip off of something that you're trimming down. Here's another one. This one is all ready. Isn't that pretty? I got another one ready to square up right here. This one here. These really turn out really pretty, these quilt blocks. Here's another one that's ready to be trimmed. I know it's kind of hard to see. Let's take that off. Here's this one. And they're all different, and just really, really beautiful quilts. And when you think about it, if you make quilts for nieces or nephews, grandkids, sons, daughters, you know, when you pass away and you have this quilt, they're going to be looking at this going, hey, you know, my aunt made a quilt out of this fabric for my child, and oh, I remember Mom made me a quilt out of this fabric. They're going to see these fabrics in there, which is really kind of an heirloom. Now, because of all the seams, I'm going to flip this over once. Because of all the seams on these particular blocks, you're going to probably have to tie this rather than machine quilt it because of all the seams. Tying it is preferred, and you could probably do machine quilting in the sashing. Like I said, I'm going to do sashing in between my blocks, and depending on how wide you do it, you should be able to do some machine quilting in between the blocks there, and then tie the blocks in the centers here. Being that these are going to be, here's a 7.5 inch one right here. Let me just move all this. This is a 7.5 inch one right here. So, you know, they usually say when you're going to tie something, you want to do it like every couple of inches or something. Because these are kind of small blocks, you might be able to get away with just tying in the center. And then if you do quilting in your sashing, that would be along the edges. I think that's enough to hold it down. There you go. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you're going to try it. Leave me a comment. Give me a thumbs up. And subscribe for more videos in the future. I don't make a whole lot right now, but go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks for watching.